Can you believe the beginning of 2023 has now seen Bitcoin pump over 25% in the first 2 weeks of the year? It definitely feels like we are hitting some extreme FOMO, some panic in the market, feeling like a lot of people have missed out on the bottom. But of course, this is all part of the bottoming process. We've seen it time and time again. I'm here to calm the nerves of the pump and just remain stable and cautious with your trading plans around these lows. We've been here throughout the previous bear market, the pump, the dump, and now we're here again in these historical Bitcoin buy zones as we've been covering here on the channel. So in today's video, let's look at where that extreme pain is for crypto traders, and is that Bitcoin bottom in? What do we have left to do to be able to call the Bitcoin bottom once and for all? If you haven't already, subscribe, like, do all those things down below. You know the drill. It helps out the channel and allows you to see this content as it is timely content throughout the cycle. All right, guys, these are the last couple of videos that I suggest you look at after this. I'll leave a link to them at the end of this video. The reason being is that we have many metrics that we've been covering here. This is your home of market cycle analysis. And of course, a main focus here is market sentiment. I get absolutely destroyed in the bull markets by all of the hopium and the degens and basically every other crypto YouTuber out there as they continue to pump the market. But I'm focused here, as you guys are as well, on the market sentiment. And what we've been looking at recently, looking at our first particular indicator here, our crypto fear and greed index, is the breakout of the downtrend on the fear and greed index. Look at that. We've hit that, we've broken above, and as of today, we are now at 46. The call was, as we've looked at in previous videos here, yesterday we looked at it, and then previous ones of last week, looking for a reading above 40 to break that downtrend. So this is that key downtrend of the market sentiment throughout the bear market. And as you can see, the major fearful time was around that May-June low, which came in at 17,500. We got the higher low on Bitcoin, which formed in November. And that was at around a reading of about 20, those high teens, early 20s. So the fear in the market was leaving as the price was dropping a little further. And we called the divergence in the market sentiment, seeing that many investors continued to buy just what was on the chart, but the masses were calling for lower prices. So the market feeling out there, a lot of people were calling for lower prices. It didn't happen. So the feeling started to diverge from what was going on in the price. And now we've got that first piece of confirmation there, looking at the fear and greed bouncing above those first readings there of around 30. So current reading is at 46 today. Moving forward from this point, I dare say we'll have to come back and retest some of these higher prices or these higher readings on the market sentiment. I don't think we're just going to go straight up to a really high price and take out the 30s or the 40Ks. Stranger things have happened, like we saw in 2019, where that did actually happen, run all the way up into extreme greed within that accumulation period of the Bitcoin market. And that ran up to 95 in June of 2019. That's where Bitcoin got that 14K top. And so if we are wrong and the market runs up from this point at around $21,000 all the way past 40K, we have been buying in this zone. We've talked about this for months and months and months. Looking at the historical Bitcoin cycle buy zones, it almost seems like this has come true again. It's still a little bit too early, as we'll see in terms of the swing indicator, looking at where this Bitcoin bottom could be in. But in terms of this particular zone, which first was touched in June of 2022, we're now 7 months from that bottom. And what we've seen in the past is Bitcoin has remained in this zone for approximately between 4 and 10 or so months. You can see the first touch in 2014 happened just for a week or two. That was in September, lasted a few months out, and then dumped back into it through January. And that was basically that December-January period all the way through to the end of 2015, where it finally left the zone in October. And so maybe we come back into this zone on a black swan event like what happened in 2020. Maybe we come back into this zone on a retreat from the current FOMO that's happened over the last 7 days of the market bouncing up. Whatever the case may be, the point is that we've had to stick to this plan, and sticking to the plan can be extremely difficult. As we pointed out in this video right here, going back over 3 weeks now. I'll leave a clip to that right here so you can hear exactly what we talked about at that time and just how challenging buying low can be. Personally, I like this area for Bitcoin buying, like I've got here in my historical Bitcoin buy zones. It's going to be a difficult time to navigate, like we've talked about, since June, which is where this low was. The first low at 17.5. The market's only at 16.8 now, so several $100s lower. So not much has really happened, but it's been one of the most difficult times to navigate because of the extreme negativity, the extreme bearishness, and of course, a lot of forecasts of prices going much, much lower. So to be able to hold in there and start to buy and not wait for those times is quite difficult. They were my thoughts a few weeks ago, looking at trying to buy this bottom when everyone else is calling for much, much lower price. That whole 10K thing, and you would have seen my titles by now looking at 10K, kissing it goodbye. It's probably over at this stage. But there are still a couple of things that we have to look at in terms of the macro analysis here for Bitcoin, and in particular, it's the swing chart. Now, we're going to get to that swing chart on the macro, but where the crypto traders are getting absolutely wrecked is, of course, trading short in the market, trying to put short orders in, potentially without plans, potentially without stop losses. And what we've seen over the last 12 hours is shorts get absolutely wrecked here to the tune of over $500 million. And in the last 24 hours, basically over $600 million. The majority of this has happened in the last 4 hours alone. So when Bitcoin gets on a run, it goes very hard, very fast. Always make sure you've got a plan, and within that plan, have stop loss orders. And of course, this is a great time for me to shill our trading partners here on the channel, Bybit and BitGet. They have huge sign-up bonuses. So if you are a trader, hopefully you've got a plan. Hopefully you're using the TI Gann swing indicator to keep you safe in the markets and allow you to understand where to put your stops and where safe entry points are. Nonetheless, if you do want to be trading on exchanges, which so far have made it through this bear market, Bybit, BitGet, links are down below. Check those out for those massive sign-up bonuses. For everyone else, don't worry. Keep doing what you're doing. Make sure you got plans so that we're ready to go for this next stage of the bull market. Now, these swing tops are one major important factor to determine whether we are out of the bear market or still in it, basically trying to call that. But we have multiple signals here that we need to check off. We need to see this market break above the previous monthly swing top. They have been the key resistance levels in terms of price. And so far, that's at around 21,500. This particular move is about $100 short of that, depending on which exchange you're looking at. On some exchanges, it's a little bit lower, and on others, it's broken above that. So it's still not confirmed for me. We need to see the end of the month close. That will happen in about 17 or 18 days on the January closing bar, of course. Now, the higher monthly swing top, which I think has far more confirmation on it, is the August top. That price comes in around 25,200. So what we would need to see in terms of the confirmation on the swing chart is for the monthly to come up and break this August swing top. Now that is super important because any breaks of this monthly swing chart basically confirm the trend for a pretty long period of time, barring any sort of fake outs. And you can see these fake outs here, like what happened in the pandemic drop. And you can tell that they're a fake out because by the end of that close of the month, you can see the close basically came back up to the previous swing low. So that's a nice fake out there. What didn't happen, as you can see here, you can see the monthly swing low, the market ran up again, but then broke the swing low in May and closed underneath it, and the market continued down since May. So you can go back again in history, you can see another fake out during this period here in 2015. But basically each of these monthly swings, you can see that it puts in the trend. Once that trend is broken, like what happened here in July of 2015, the new trend is on. The trend flips, bears to bulls, and we go with that next bull market. You can see that in that was August of 2015, the market broke the swing low and then closed above it. So it was basically a fake out to the downside, that one last final dip to get that cheap Bitcoin and then the market was on for that next bull market. So pay particular attention to this monthly swing indicator. The link to this is in the top of the video description. You can grab it right now, TIA Gann swing indicator. Click that link and put it onto your chart so that you can keep track of whether this market is flipping from a bear to a bull or vice versa. And it's a really fantastic indicator to keep you safe in the market with those profits. This indicator lets you know whether the market has flipped. So that's what we're looking for here, waiting for this confirmation of the flip, and then whether we get another little fake out, and then looking for the market to continue on the flip, or that new trend being the bull trend. On top of that, we have the downtrend as well, and the logarithmic downtrend. I want to show you this on the daily chart. We're getting very, very close to it right now. You can see we're probably about $1,000 or so off that particular level if we're to run up to it today. I think we're probably going to get rejected at it for the first time here, in 2023. We have hit it once back in 2022, and obviously that first hit was where the point started from, which was November 21. This will probably get broken sometime in March or April, conservatively speaking. Maybe we do it now, go really, really hard, really, really fast, and come back and sit on top of it. That would be a very fast move. But if that doesn't happen, then we could probably see it happen sometime in around late Feb, March, or April, as the market continues to sort of trend sideways after this move. If this corrective move from this top is a little bit deeper, then you could probably look out further to around May or so. That's what we're looking at so far based on this move. That's going to depend on where this move settles to after the pump is finished. Ideally, you want to see it now above that 18,500. That is a key level moving forward, depending on where this top comes in. So things are looking up for that logarithmic downtrend to get broken sometime, I think, Q1 of 2023, if not, call it around April or May, so Q2. And the final thing that we'll look at here is the timing of the cycle. This has almost worked out to a T. I mean, if it remains where it is right now and the market doesn't break that low that came in during November, then the timing again for that downtrend is basically dead on point with the previous 4-year cycles. So we had a number of things that we covered today looking at, is that Bitcoin bottom in? Are we about to flip? First being that market sentiment. Like we've seen in the past, once we start to flip past the downtrend of whatever's happened in that market sentiment, it's pretty hard for it to come back within a short period of time. Once we break those downtrends, then people start to feel a little bit more bullish again. It doesn't mean that the market is completely over with that previous trend, but it looks like we're turning into that next stage of the trend. And that could essentially be that accumulation. You got to squeeze out all of those last people who are hoping and praying for those extreme low prices that they believe they were promised or they think have to happen, similar to what we saw in the previous cycles. And for this current cycle, it's like that $10,000 Bitcoin. We might not ever get there. We don't have that final confirmation just yet, but with this upside push, it's looking very, very unlikely. And if we get those monthly swing breaks, which is one of our next indicators for the end of this particular cycle, as we've demonstrated from previous cycles, and this tool has over 100 years of data, probably heard me say that a lot. Basically, on most other markets, once you start to get that on multiple timeframes here, in particular the monthly swing chart, then you can basically kiss any of those lower price targets goodbye, because this is identifying the trend is ready to change. So we need to get past this 21.5. Ideally, I want to see around that 25.2, just because this was a stronger monthly swing top than this particular one right here. So that's the monthly swing top, nearly there. The logarithmic downtrend, like we saw on the daily, it's getting close. I think that'll happen sometime in this first half of 2023 for us to break past the logarithmic downtrend. We've already done it with the linear downtrend back in October of 2022. And then one of the final factors is to cross past the 50% level from the all-time high to zero. And that is the halfway point around 34,500. And of course, on the way up, there's going to be plenty more resistance levels, but this at least puts us above that previous low at about 30K or 29 to 30K, and then also above those previous levels where the market was just holding up before that final one of those major final collapses on Bitcoin. So it's a long way off. We've got a few levels to look at before then. Also, there was that timing factor as well. So we looked at that many, many times. We're going to continue to update that and look at how that works out within this next stage. Should we get another major bull market into this next Bitcoin and cryptocurrency bull market. Now, I've also got a Wyckoff update video coming out on the channel, so make sure you have subscribed, like the content. You know the drill, how it works down below. Check out the links to everything that I've talked about here, in particular the Gann swing indicator and our free crypto and economic report. Link is in the top of the video description there. If you've missed out on buying Bitcoin, I wouldn't feel so bad just yet. It's just going to take a little bit more patience now because it seems like the momentum is shifting more towards the bulls. Keep this chart in mind if you are looking to basically continue to fill your bags during this period of the market. Now that we're seeing ourselves around that 21K, who knows, by the end of January, maybe we've dropped all the way back down to 18K, or maybe that happens in February or March, which is what we're forecasting, as I'd said on the channel from last week's video, looking at a 2023 prediction for Bitcoin and the stock market. Probably sometime this quarter, in quarter one, we start to drop back and test some of these lower prices here, particularly on the S&P, and Bitcoin will probably follow suit if the S&P is also looking weaker, factoring in somewhere around that March-ish period. So are we out of the Bitcoin bear market? Not yet. Signs are looking quite good. Is now a good time to be trading? Well, anytime there's volatility, it's a fantastic time to be trading. Like we've talked about throughout this period, you want that volatility so that the trades come nice, fast, hard, and quick. So don't go anywhere with those. I still don't see any confirmation for dollar cost averaging into cryptos. I like to wait for different signals, very confirmed factors, because many of these altcoins won't make it. It's happened every single cycle. I get the same questions from people. Please stay safe out there. Keep your money safe. Have your plans. And if you do try to dollar cost average into altcoins, make sure you have a get out point on altcoins, some sort of stop loss area in case they just don't make it. Thanks once again, guys. I'll see you at the next video. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel, all that sort of good stuff. Have a great weekend. And until then, peace out.